Yes, this slide describes a cancer database on Globocan, where the total number of case prevalency in 5 years is above 1900,000, with the number of new cases above 300,000, and the number of deaths above 2,000 a year. Meanwhile, at Termais Cancer Hospital, we find data on patient visit above 200,000 a year, with the number of new cases above 2,000 a year, and of which more than 15% are in the late stage. So our patient come to our hospital because our hospital is a referral hospital. So the patient, maybe first they come to the network hospital. If the network hospital can manage their treatment or their case, they come to our hospital, referral to our hospital. And for pilot program, our pilot program, we serve three cancer types, are lung cancer, pancreatic cancer, and prostate cancer, and we focusing on the new patient only for now. Okay, next slide. Dr. Dian, you can help me if my describing is not clear. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. This is our team. So this is our work so far. You can see on the picture on the left top. This is we make regular meeting with the design teams, discussing and adapting the implementation of the toolkit. In the bottom, you can see this is we make coordination with other departments to gain input for the implementation of the program. We also make provided special identification pin for our navigator because we new program in our hospital, and we think this is very important for us. We make a development assessment form for the navigator so we can assess our patient for needed, what they want to do and what they don't know. So we assess about a patient with this form. And we provided material regarding cancer education. And of course, we may collaborate with CISG as lay navigator to help with logistic barriers. Okay, next slide. You can see the left picture. This is our location in which navigation services are provided, our room, and we make a collaboration with CISG, conducted webinar sharing session from the expert to the navigator regarding knowledge of cancer. So we can give education to our patient with the same standard. And the bottom picture, you can see we launch of the cancer patient navigation in September 9, 2022, introducing the program to the Cancer Referral Hospital Network. Okay, next. Yeah, this is our milestone. In February 2022, we determined the team for designing and implementing the program. We identified a theoretical framework and set program goals and determine eligible patient characteristics. So we make a characteristic of patient who we guide to this program. In April 2022, we determined the setting in which navigation service provided. We make collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Tata Memorial Center in providing a short course for the champion of navigators. In May until August 2022, we identified the navigator responsibilities. We determined the qualification of navigator and developing a document for program implementation like a guideline program, standard of operational procedure, assessment form like you see before, and we make patient logbook, patient education material, so we can guide our patient because they already has our their logbook. In June until August 2022, we make training or sharing session from the expert to the navigators regarding knowledge of cancer, and we determine the navigator workflow and description job and data management. And at the 9th September 2022, we launched the pilot program of cancer patient navigation in the Mines Cancer Hospital. Next slide. Still our milestone, we plan on October until December 2022, developing CPN for patients of lung and thoracic MDT, liver and intestinal cancer, and urology MDT. We establishing system information of the CPN that integrated into the e-medical record, electronic medical record, so we can guide. Also, we can guide the patient data from electronic medical record. We hope so. And we to develop questionnaire for patient satisfaction and start measuring the patient quality of life using the EORTC QOL C30 questionnaire. We also made plan in 2023. We will measuring the patient satisfaction rate with the CPN program, developing CPN for breast, gynecology, and childhood malignancy. And we hope in 2024, we developing CPN for all cancer, we hope. Okay, next slide. This slide, we try to describe our challenge we have encountered. The first, our clinical navigator also have responsibilities in other work units. So we make solution, we make a two-shift schedule for a clinical navigator. We make two shifts in the morning and the afternoon. Number two, some patients couldn't make it to meet the navigators on the same day, so they cannot meet the navigators in the same day. So we make solutions strengthening coordination with polyclinic nurses, or recommend the patient to visit the CPN in the next appointment. Also created a Google form to track patient and the services they need. Next, the PN service is limited during office hour. Yes, we still make a patient service in office hour. So we make solution coordinate with case manager. We also have case manager in our hospital and supervisor. Supervisor in our hospital is like a manager on duty. Whether there are patients who need PN services outside of working hours. If the patient agree, the PN will contact the patient in the next day, PN patient navigator. Next, due to the limited facility and overload of patient, some examination result can take more than 2 weeks to carry out. So we make solution, strengthening coordination with the unit, recommend making it a priority for diagnostic and therapeutic purpose. Next, data collection and integration into the hospital database. We make solution to develop a data management system for cancer patient navigation, bridging to the electronic medical record. And the last, it is hard to track eligible patient. Nevertheless, the patient has other primary malignancy before. So the solution is advocacy for a patient-centered care approach. So we use patient-centered care approach to coordination with the other departments. Next slide. Okay, this is the Beacon Toolkits and Community Resource. We use this toolkit. First toolkit, we use toolkit 1E, barriers to care, and the potential of patient navigation. This toolkit helping us to decide the shape or design of our navigation program and carefully consider which barriers are within reach of our program and which require further efforts and investment by our health facility. The next toolkit we use, toolkit 2G, assess our readiness for introducing patient navigation. So the SWOT analysis, we make SWOT analysis, helping us identify positive and negative factors that can affect our success. By noting the positive, we can build on what is working and take advantage of favorable circumstance. Identifying negative factor allow us to anticipate and address challenge. The next toolkit, we use toolkit 5A, integrated navigation services into your patient flow. This is toolkit helping us to identify and plan the navigators encounter and touch point in our patient flow, and how navigators effectively engage with patients and manage their care during navigation encounters and touch point, and developing the form, SOP, and planning the data management. And the last, we use toolkit 5E, define indicator to measure your program progress. This is so we know how to select and define the program indicators and how to measure the effectiveness of our navigation program. Next slide. I think that's all we can describe to our program, but we still have questions we would like to answer today. The first question is, do you know any clinical navigation program, especially one focusing on late-stage patients, that we could learn from? And number two, do you know any hospital having both clinical navigator and care manager that we could learn from? Because in our hospital, we also have a case manager and clinical navigators now. Thank you for your listening.
Okay. Thank you very much for a wonderful presentation, taking us through what it is that you're doing and the journey that you've made, the milestones that you've gone through, and even your projection into the future of what it is that you aim to achieve in the coming 2 years. I will open up this forum so that we can have any clarifying questions from any of the organizations and members present today. Please feel free to unmute, ask any question about the presentation, and then we will come back later after the second presentation to respond to the questions that the MICE has.
Jessica, you're muted. Zodwa has her
Yes,
hand.
Zodwa, please go ahead.
No, thank you. Thank you for your presentation, and well done. To me, I've got 2 questions. So it sounded as if you are operating in the hospital where you are working. Am I correct? And number 2, it sounds as if everything was moving smoothly. You didn't have any barriers or delay with getting permission from the senior people of the hospital. So if you had any problems, maybe on moving quicker enough with the top management of the hospital, how did you go about addressing those barriers?
Okay. We do not have another question as yet, so please go ahead, Lina. And in the meantime, if you have additional questions, you can also use the chat to type out your questions.
Yes, thank you. Dr. Dian, can you help me to answer this question, please? Because this is about managerial.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Jodwa Sitho. Would you please to say again your first question? But for the second question, we are very fortunate because our director and managing is gave us the very strong backup. They are support us to make these programs happen. So much barrier that we get in the beginning because this is the first program for us. We learn from the toolkits and then we try to see the kind of the medical care in our hospital. We also made the coordination with the quality control in our hospital. They help us to see all the potential barriers that our program will have, and we discuss together to try to limit it the risk. I think that. Thank you.
Okay, Zodo, go ahead with the first question.
Sorry, talking to me, Jessica.
Yes, the first question, if you could rephrase it.
Oh, okay. I was just asking where your project, is it in the same hospital where you are working, or you are doing your project somewhere where you are not working? Are you at the hospital? Or maybe
do you mean that where we do this project?
Yes.
Yeah. We do this project first as a pilot project in our hospital. But we try to make this program to make it happen, just a pilot project in our hospital first. We have not go expand to another hospital, but we plan to expand because our hospital is a national cancer center and we are the national referral hospital.
Thank you. Thanks.
And maybe, Zodwa, I can just add that, within the 10 pilot projects or pilot sites, we have some like CANSA, who are cancer organizations who are partnering with hospitals. And then, of course, we have some hospitals and health facilities. So as you notice in the toolkit, we talk about facility-based programming that might be implemented by the facility. So think of Kenyatta National Hospital or Uganda Cancer Institute, where it started internally, versus a program like you're developing where you're suggesting the idea to a hospital. So you might, to your point, face some barriers to get
Yes.
them to understand what you think is important, and to, of course, no matter what, do that partnership model, which presents challenges to bring two parties together. And of course, Darmais is also working. They mentioned CISC that we heard from last time. So everyone comes at this from a different vantage point, and all vantage points have pros and cons.
Yes. No, thanks, Krista. If Jessica I can continue why I was asking this question, because it looks as if you guys have been moving so smoothly. So if you work with another partner, you need to accommodate them. Sometimes they delay you. So you need to have some ways of dealing with those barriers where maybe you are waiting for them to give you permission. That's the reason why I was asking you. Thank you.
And of course, I think depending on whichever setting, there will always be some challenges. So do you're having to work with people where you need to get their buy-in so that you can work jointly. Others have to set up in their own hospitals, and each of them also comes with different levels of engagement, whether you're engaging internally with the management and the leadership of the hospital, or whether you're, as an outsider, going to reach out to whoever is a decision maker and influencer within the institutions where you want to set up. I think all of them are opportunities for us to learn and see the different modalities with which people engage, and see whether there's something that we can also pick. Christy, go ahead.
Before we move on to Malaysia, I had one clarifying question. So Lena, I think you said that right now your clinical navigators are actually existing oncology doctors and nurses rather than separate clinical staff who are supporting oncology nurses and doctors. So first of all, I want to clarify if that is true. And then if it is true, I'm curious how that's impacting, the essential delivery of care. I'm assuming that all of these people were very busy before. So then how are they also doing navigation services alongside their clinical care? I hope that's clear.
Yes, so Christy, because our program still for three cancer, paru and pancreatic and digestive, yes. So, and our program is for only new patient. So we don't have many patients yet. So we still we can still separate our job in my work, of course. And if we have a patient come to our navigation room, we go to a navigation room. So we make a coordination with nurses at polyclinic. The patient first come to our hospital. They come to the screening room, and the general doctor in the cleaning room make assessment. And if they are our patient for the three cancer, they make a referral to our room, to the navigator room. So we don't have many patients yet now. Okay. So we can make our job in our first job, and then we go to the navigator room.
You're starting small, it sounds like, which is good. Is your future plan, and if you don't know it now, that's okay, but is your future plan to always have existing doctors and nurses doing navigation, or do you expect in the future you will be adding different staff doing that role?
Yes, of course, we want to make a navigator patient from another profession, like a social worker or like psychologist, and that's it ongoing. So right now we make a collaboration with Atta Memorial Center Hospital in Mumbai, India, to develop our navigators. We will send to the TMC for not only doctor and nurses, but also we will send psychology, psycholog, and of course for the future maybe we can make more many profession in our passing navigation.
Good, thank you. And the good news is, if you get all the doctors and nurses to understand navigation, then you have built-in support in the future. So
Yes.
good luck with that. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, may I give some other explanation? That's the doctor in our patient navigator is general practitioner, not oncologist. But the in our hospital we have about 80 or 60 general practitioner, and we are as the secretary in the multidisciplinary team. So this general practitioner that include in this patient navigation. And of course, we have the support from the multidisciplinary team. They gave us some the path how long the patient from come to diagnostic and how long to get the treatment. That's accordance to the clinical pathway that they has give to us. Maybe.
All right, Andre and Manjit, I see you have your hands up. Allow me to move to the next presenter in the interest of time, and then we will still have you ask your clarifying questions at the end of the presentation. All right, and with that, I would like to invite Vijaya Lakshmi, whom we call VG in short to make it easy, to present the National Cancer Society of Malaysia. Welcome, VG and team.
Just unmuting. Okay. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to whichever country you are in. About Guided Patient Support, GPS, Patient Navigation Program, National Cancer Society of Malaysia. Next. A little bit of information about National Cancer Society of Malaysia. NCSM is the first non-profit cancer organization in Malaysia that provides education, care, and support services for people affected by cancer and the general public. It was established in 1966 by our very first oncologist, the late Dr. S.K. Dharmalingam. NCSM is now under the distinguished patronage of His Royal Highness Sultan Paduka Sri Sultan Perak Darul Rizwan Sultan Nasruddin Muhyiddin Shah. The society is financed entirely by contributions and donations by the general public. Next. NCSM's vision is to live in a world without cancer. But to do that, we are on a mission now to ensure that no Malaysian fears cancer by creating an understanding that leads to prevention and early detection, and by providing the best possible care for those affected by cancer. For this, we have 6 service centers, which are Cancer and Health Screening Clinic, Nuclear Medicine Center, Resource and Wellness Center, Quit Smoking Clinic, Children's Home of Hope, and Adults Home of Hope. Resource and Wellness Center is actually a place where patients can come after their treatment to mix with others, learn new skills, impart what skills they have, and learn new like yoga, Zumba, painting. And this is very good because it keeps them connected and makes sure that they come for their appointments for the next 5 years at least. The adult and children's home are in Kuala Lumpur because many of the treatment, the patients have to go to KL and stay in hospitals. And if they have to wait 2 days, it's very expensive in the hotels. So they can stay in these homes free of charge. Next. This is where the pilot project for patient navigation started. Hospital Malacca, this is the front lobby. Looking at it, you might think it's a small hospital. Actually, it has 806 beds and sprawls over a large area. It was built in 1934, and we can walk about 5 kilometers. The navigators just walking from ward to ward. Next. It is a government-funded public hospital, and it's also a secondary and specialist hospital, serving as a referral to the state from the districts in the different parts of Malacca, and also the northern part of southern state of Johor and the neighboring state of Negeri Sembilan. Patients also come back to Malacca if this is their hometown or their caregivers live in this town. So it is quite a busy hospital. About GTS, how it all started. Well, it started as I was finishing my own cancer journey. And when I finished, the then head of Department of Surgery, Dr. Safian, in 2013, asked me to bring a team of navigators and me to start helping his breast cancer patients through their cancer journey. It was on every Wednesday. And in 2 years, he saw that the patients that he was seeing, stage 3 and 4, were becoming stage 1 and 2. So he included Monday as another day when he was going to see breast cancer patients. So we started navigating patients on Monday and Wednesdays. And then he was also in charge of SOPD, which is the surgical outpatient department. And in 2015, we started going on Thursdays to that clinic where we see colon, prostate, and other surgical cancers. In 2016, we realized that ENT, dermatology, ophthalmology, all are very close by to this clinic and the room we have there. And so we talked to their heads of department to refer their cancer patients to this room. So on Thursdays, we see from all these 4 departments. Then medical came in 2017, and they asked us to come to lung. But lung is where also they see a lot of tuberculosis patients, and a lot of our navigators are peers who have cancer. So we decided to move into the quit smoking room, which is just opposite the specialist center. So it was not bad, specialist room, I mean. And then in 2018, on Tuesdays, we started ONG. And now just 2 months ago, we started capitobiliary. We're quite happy about the slow move they have been going and seeing the progress. Okay, the needs and barriers to care. I'm sure most of our countries in different places see the same needs and requirements: financial, emotional, misconception, language, fear, family objections. Financial is, we normally refer our patients to different NGOs, foundations, or government agencies that does provide 3 months, up to 3 months stipend, or 6 months, or 1 year. Sometimes it's for lifetime. They give cancer patients a small amount of money. Some agencies provide medical aids like beds, wheelchairs. So we are able to direct our patients to the place where they need to go to get it. Language can be a big barrier in Malaysia because 4 languages are spoken, but Indians and the Chinese do speak a lot of dialects. So getting someone to speak in that dialect can be a difficulty. So finding interpreters is a big issue with the doctors, the navigators too. Family objections are normally from those who do not want their patients, their family members to undergo mastectomy, have a stoma bag, or go for even a colonoscopy or a biopsy. When it's a Muslim patient, it's quite often we can ask the ustaz who works with the welfare department in the hospital to come and assist us to talk and say it's okay. But many times we have found that we have not needed that. The navigators are able to talk and convince them, but it takes time. It does not happen in one visit. It might take some time over continued speaking, and the love and care that the navigators show makes them change their mind and go on with the treatment. Next. GPS vision and goals. GPS vision is to provide a better quality for all cancer patients who will come through this program. How can we achieve these goals? National Cancer Society of Malaysia hopes to provide nationwide patient navigation training services to ensure that all cancer patients have a patient navigator to journey with them through their cancer journey. Provide accurate information to the families so that we can eliminate false beliefs and myths about cancer treatment. Build a strong relationship between navigators and medical providers so that patient navigation becomes an integral part in all government hospitals in Malaysia. Set up centers throughout. People are educated and aware of the importance of cancer care and treatment. How does the patient navigation process work here in the hospital? We are referred cases from doctors, caregivers, or by the community. The minute the patient walks into the room, we try to build a rapport. We are always tag team. That means there are two of us seeing a patient, and one will be the one asking the question, the other will profile the case. While they're profiling the case, one of them will be asking all the relevant questions that we need so they can be profiled for future references. When necessary, after the profiling is done, a navigator may refer a patient to the psychosocial team. But in case we feel they are not necessary, within the third visit or the third face-to-face navigation with a patient, we will refer at least once the patient to a psychosocial team. The main cancers we see are colorectal, breast, cervical, ovarian, and lung. In all the different departments, we have a room specifically given to us, and patients and medical providers know where we are when we are there. Navigators in Hospital Melaka see patients at the doctor's office, wards, or in other areas of the hospital as needed. We see sometimes in the doctor's office, especially when it's breaking news, either when it's end of life or when they are just being broken the news that the patient has got cancer. In the wards, when at the last minute the patient refuses to take the chemotherapy or go for the operation, they will call us in a hurry, but we will still go to the wards to see patients who have accepted the chemo just to see how they are doing. On average, we navigate approximately 45 patients per month. In the year 2020, okay, how is our services delivered? No, it's okay. Next. How is our services delivered? We deliver them in person in the room provided to us or at NCSM office, through phone calls or video calls. We also do family counseling when required with the patients. Somehow or other, the patients are still learning to like video calls. They prefer to talk to us on phones or in person. Our work so far. Patient navigators are not limited to peers only. We have lay and medical providers who are part of our team. It is now curricular based, and all of them have to be trained before they can become navigators. Debriefing for patient navigators is a must. If they do not attend 3 debriefings, they will be temporarily stopped from being a patient navigator. They can refer their cases, patients to the psychosocial team. We also do collaboration with foundations and other NGO groups where we try and get whatever the patients require, like beds, as I was saying, Pampers, concentrated oxygen tanks, things like that. MOU with Manipal University College, Malaysia. We have signed with them. We are planning to do 5 programs with them per year with their students. And we also hope the final year students will be given a 1-day collaboration with us. We support all workshop activities organized by Hospital Malacca, communities, and private centers, private hospitals. Pre-COVID, we had 22 navigators, and then you see a sharp drop. It's now to 6. We are now got 47 people in training going right at present. They are being trained. One group will be ending their training very soon, and we will start the 3rd cohort and the 4th cohort as soon as possible. Yes, done. Next. Our milestones. We have managed to create a good working relationship with heads of department. We are happy that we have been accepted and we are aware that we are there. Patient navigators are there by doctors and patients. We are allocated a specific room in each cancer clinic for patient navigation. You can see the room that was the first room given to us at breast clinic, where we see our son. It was specially built for us in the breast clinic itself. The photo below, the second photo. Yes, that's one. That's it. Yes, that's a room specially built for us. And they involve patient navigators in workshops and activities organized by Hospital Malacca, which is very good because it tells us how the hospital is run, what they are expecting of us, and how we can work together in the long run to benefit the patients. Our milestones continuing is we have made it shorter waiting times between appointments, especially for patients with multidisciplinary cancer, by talking to the HODs to see whether they can have all the appointments on the same day so that it will save time and money for the patients. We have collaborated with Etica for free mammograms. Our hospital was only one mammogram machine, and it takes about 8 to 10 people only per day, women. So we are able to provide 50 mammograms vouchers to our breast clinic, and they send the patients to the nearest specialist center. We have collaborated with the foundation to provide free or discounted rates for CAT scans. We have been asked to hold biannual CME talks to the different disciplines, gynae, surgical. Monthly and weekly programs for cancer survivors are held at our office, our premises. The weekly programs could be like painting, sewing. The monthly programs normally are cooking, skills, yoga, like I said before. Next. Challenges and challenges and the solutions. In the beginning, we only had peer navigators when we started in 2013. The fallout was so bad that we had to sign in non-peers. So we had to take in lay persons, we took in medical persons, and we found that they also worked just as well as long as their determination, time, and commitment to this patient navigation work. Recruitment and sustaining patient navigation. We found out that burnout was a big problem with patient navigators, and so we now have made it a must that they must attend a monthly debrief. When new heads of department come in, we find that sometimes the new heads of department have never worked with a navigator. And so they find it hard to understand what we are doing there, why we are there. And so we find that discussing with the new head while the old head is still there, HOD is still there, is very good. And it helps to bridge the gap. Sometimes doctors do not refer cases to us because they're new to the department. They've never heard of navigators. They've not been told by the HOD maybe about our presence. So making our presence and our relevance to them takes time. And if you have been to a government hospital in Malaysia, you have seen it's very crowded. It's got lots of patients. Doctors have a lot of cases to see. So even to remember to tell that we are there sometimes is a great difficulty for them, or they forget. So we must create greater awareness among the doctors and show them the importance. Language barrier with patients. We have decided now that each group will have the different speakers in different nationalities in each discipline. Our navigators do not jump from one to another. If they decide to be a patient navigator for breast, they stay with breast. If it's lung, they stay with lung. And they stay with the patient for about approximately a year or a little bit more. Family members, carers have no time or have other commitments after the appointment to be able to come to see us. So now we have given a form to the doctors to sign, whereby they get the permission, they sign on the paper, and then they refer the case to us. But it does not always happen. Next, in general. The step-by-step of setting up the patient navigation, we have started to use it from start to finish, and we have restructured our services from an informal to a formal kit. This is I wanted to show this. I hope you all can see it. It's in my hands. This is all the barriers, our new notes. Can you all see it? Is it possible to you all to see? Okay, can you see it? Yes, can you say? This is barriers to care. We have formed a new, this is our new training material. Everything is all from the toolkit. We have started to use your toolkit. Yeah. Active listening. Everything we are using from your toolkit. We have made restructured our whole training session to include the toolkit. Built a program budget and navigation work plan in section 4 will be useful and will be managed by the project manager in KL. But otherwise, we have used your toolkit to the maximum. Unless they pass, the next one is the exams. If they pass this only, they will be allowed to become patient navigators in future. Next. The questions I would like, and we would like, my friends and I who are here, would like to be answered is how to recruit, sustain, and motivate patient navigators over time, how to be needed and relevant for cancer patients. Before I end this, I would like to say a special thanks to all my navigators and all the staff in Kuala Lumpur who have supported our work and given us tremendous help in our journey and kept us motivated. And now I'd like to thank Beacon Initiative for further motivating us to continue our work. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, BG, for a wonderful presentation and for all the efforts that your team put in to make it what it was today. We would like to take any clarifying questions. And after we do the clarifying questions specifically for NCSM, National Cancer Society Malaysia, then we will combine the questions from the MICE as well as Malaysia for the rest of us to be able to feed in or give our input. So any quick clarifying questions? And remember, you can also type out the question on chat.
Great.
Hello, Fiji. I'm Risa from Indonesia.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very nice and comprehensive presentation. I would like to understand that the navigator you are referring is a lay navigator or just patient navigator?
It's lay people who are trained.
Mm.
They have to learn everything from A to Z and be like a mini doctor. Sometimes I feel I'm the specialist because the doctors, when they refer the cases to us, give us notes in those kind of terms. And so we have to, so the training now helps us a lot with how to read the notes, how to understand the notes, and what the next treatment is. So, for example, if a patient says they're going for a colonoscopy, we actually provide them with what to do before the colonoscopy, how to diet, and what to bring for the colonoscopy for the day, how to dress themselves. Everything is given in small point form so that they can bring it with them. Even if they're coming for a mastectomy, we tell them what to bring, what to do the first day, what to do the next day, what not to eat, what to eat. All the little advice that they need is given to them. So sometimes patients, you will understand it better from Indonesia. The patients are more or less of similar type. So we have to tell them to bring slippers which has got teeth at the bottom because they normally go to the bathroom and slip and fall. So these are little things we have to remember to tell them.
Yeah, very impressive. And for the training, how long does it take for the training to be a navigator?
To be a navigator, it takes 6 weekends from 9 to 12:30, till 5:30 for 2 days. So it's like 12 hours. It's 112 hours. Then you have to do 50 hours of being tagged with a senior navigator and work in like a hospital. You have to go around with them, go to the ward, see how it is to talk to a HOD, how is it to talk to doctors. Everything you have to learn besides knowing how to talk to the patients.
Yeah, so I can cut in. Basically, we're currently running a pilot program for the training. So as Madam Vijay has said, they've been doing this for 9 years, just as peers who have gone through the cancer journey themselves or have been caretakers for people with cancer. And so a lot of them are either retired or are doing this full time, or some of them are just donating their time in between having other responsibilities. So really good job to them. They've been in this a lot. So what we've been doing now, especially since partnering with Beacon, is that we've been trying to formalize that training. So using the experience that they have got from being able to navigate patients in one hospital in Malaysia, to now putting it into into a proper syllabus and being able to train people from start to finish, so that even lay people or people with minimal medical knowledge or cancer knowledge can kind of donate their time and be able to support patients in this way. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, they've already contacted the next hospital and they've already shown their interest, and most probably will be going to Selangor very soon. To the next hospital very soon.
Thank you. Impressive. The other question, because I saw that you have quite a lot of patients, that refer or using the service from the navigator, So from your experience, which are the most area, that needed by the patient, so far from your experience?
It is always the ones who are just going to go for biopsy before an operation, and normally during their chemotherapy. So normally if it's chemotherapy, we call the day before and a few days after the chemotherapy, after every session. And after the third or fourth, they kind of linger down, the number of times. But the first chemo, they can call you as many as 6 times a day.
So you also giving your contact number as well, right? Can be contacted anytime.
Yes. Okay. That is why we need to get 50 navigators per hospital at least. Then
50. We want
50.
Okay.
Yes, we want 50.
We're not there yet.
Yes, we have to go. why I only want them to come once a week to the hospital. As I was telling, once a month only. Because as I was telling Jessica the other day, if they come once, they get 4 patients, and then they have to the next month 4 patients, and they're looking after them for a year. It builds up quite a bit. So we need them some.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for your sharing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? Vijay, when you were presenting the number of people that you had prior to COVID, during COVID, and now you have even doubled the new intake of people, I'm just curious to know, how that change happened, that you have actually doubled, and also because it ties with a question that you yourselves have asked about how do you motivate and retain the volunteers that you have. So could you talk to us about that difference in numbers?
Okay. The numbers dropped because we had a few deaths, and then we also had a number of patients and navigators who had small children. And because Hospital Malacca was a COVID-based hospital, a lot of patients were admitted there. We were, as navigators, were not allowed to go into the hospital. Our cards were removed, so we were not given permission to enter. So once we were able to go in, and I talked back to my navigators, some of them said they will only come when it's no more a COVID center. So I had to everywhere I go, I don't talk about anything else. How are you or anything else? It's, would you like to be a navigator? Everybody in my family jokes. She's got one topic she wants to recruit. She sees somebody and she's thinking navigator around there. It's constantly and reminding my navigators, please bring in one friend. Bring in. So I started off by telling each navigator you have to bring in 5 navigators. Then I reduced it to 3. So I said, at least bring a friend. And when somebody gets hooked in, I said, you must bring a friend, because coming alone for the course is not very good. If you have a friend, you will feel motivated to come. These are some of the tactics that I've used. But I need better strategy, because I need to recruit another 27. See, the both of them are laughing at the side. They know how much I can. Don't you have another friend who wants to join the soul?
Okay, thank you. So there were, and again, a very big thank you to the 2 organizations for the great presentation, the preparation that you put into this. Would like to also take this opportunity as the community present to respond to some of the questions that our 2 organizations had. We have put those 2 questions, sets of questions together. And one from the MICE was, do you know any clinical navigator program, especially one that focuses on late stage patients that we can learn from? And do you know any hospitals having both clinical navigators and case managers that we could learn from? NCSM would like to know how to recruit, sustain, and motivate patient navigators over time. And they would also like to know how to be needed and relevant for cancer patients. So let's have all of us unmute. If you have something to say, please raise your hand. And also you can engage in the chat. We will also take these questions and move them into community, and really urge all of us in the community to be active in responding to these questions. You're welcome. So we don't have to answer the questions in order. You can pick any of the questions that you think resonates with you and that you might have an answer for. I see a hand from Dr. Vitalis. Please go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, all. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. My question is directed to the lady from Indonesia. You said in your targets, you need to cover the whole Indonesia with patient navigation. I want to know your approach. Well, in one of your approach, from what I learned, you said you want to train more personnel. But my concern with respect to challenges I have also in my center, do you search for the navigators, I mean for the patients, or do they search for you? How do you design your program to be able to cover the whole Malaysia as part of your goal? Thank you. I mean Indonesia, sorry.
Indonesia.
Okay. Maybe Andita will help me to answer that how we do this program. Like you see in the presentation of Lina, we see that from 2021, we have tried to make plan about the patient navigation. And the first time we choose, we have to determine what patient that we will make the navigators, because each cancers have its programs. So we have to learn our health, our strength, and then we know we just 10% now, and we also have others duty. So we choose what cancer patient that we can do the navigators. So because of the our hospital has choose 3 cancer that will be our priority in this years, such as lung cancer and prostate cancer and pancreas cancer. So we do the we learn to we go to the multidisciplinary team, ask them their clinical pathway, and we learn how they program, they plan to the patient. So our thing, because our thing that the navigators is need to give the diagnostic and treatment timely and with high quality. So we try to adjust. We try to make the plan of the doctors is happen. Maybe I can explain that. Maybe our friend can give more.
Dr. Vitalis, are you still seeking to clarify or to contribute to the questions?
I want to contribute, and at the same time, because it's quite interesting to target the whole Indonesia, but it's a big work, because sometimes even to target an institution is not easy. They're much more of almost a whole country. So it's a very big job. It's interesting. Yeah. But I feel that we need a good policy that can drive it by working with the physicians there, so that they can be incorporated in the program. It will make the work easy for him. I mean, for her, she will have less job if she incorporates the physicians, different network of physicians, and let them understand the importance of patient navigation in oncology. It will go a long way to make the work easy. And with that network of physicians, she might cover the whole Indonesia with ease. Thanks you. That was my contribution.
Thank you. Great contribution there. And again, I'll still request if you can even share maybe an experience of how you have gone about engaging other physicians in Nigeria. That will really help to build upon this. Yes, Grace, you have 1 minute to respond.
I'm sorry, Jessica, can I make another explanation that because our hospital is a national cancer center, and we got the programs from Ministry of Health that we have to leading the cancer care in all Indonesian. So we have explained this program. We have give this program to the Ministry of Health, and they made this program as one of roadmap of the priority program of the Indonesian health health for cancer. So this program have been writing in the roadmap of cancer programs, national cancer program.
Thank you.
And I can just add, that's
Great.
a really great opportunity that Darmais is uniquely positioned to take on. Just to say, it's great to hear as a national hospital, you can influence that, and that the ministry is already thinking about navigation as part of your national cancer control plan. Not everyone, you know, in their position can do that, but it's so great that you're already starting early and demonstrating, trying to figure out what it looks like, and then how you might expand in the future, and then really create that quality of care or that benchmark for other hospitals to work towards. And maybe Grace is going to talk about that in Kenya as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so impressed at the progress both of you have made. It's such a great progress within a very short time that you have had the pilot. And so I'll talk about the recruitment, first of all. For out of our experience in Kenya, actually our recruitment and sustain, how to recruit, sustain, and motivate patient navigators over time. Yes, it is quite an important aspect of retaining these navigators. But this program in Kenya actually is an in-hospital-based program. And so what helped us to get navigators that would stay longer in the navigation program was the fact that we were able to get the nurses that are already existing within the hospital. They were already employees of the hospital. So as we recruited new nurses, we exchanged them with the employees who are already existing within the hospital, who are relevant staffs who can be able to take on the navigation program. And so it became like a continuous plan for these navigators who are already hospital staff to continue on, and they wouldn't be looking for other avenues of employment elsewhere because they are already on hospital salary scale. And so that helped. They were already in the hospital system, so that helped us to retain these nurses. And also the other thing that actually helped was the fact that even those that were not or within the hospital, that were not on the hospital employment already, those that came from outside freshly, then they were put on the same salary scale as other nurses within the hospital, so that there was no difference within the with the salary scales, so that they would be feeling demoralized that our salary scale is lower than the level of other staffs within the hospital. So that helped to retain them, and just training them and having meetings. And I have seen Malaysia, they are also having great ideas of retaining, because they are having meetings, debriefing. So that helps these nurses to get motivated. And to answer on the how to be needed and relevant. Yeah. So when the patients came in and they were getting their needs met, especially about information, just somebody to listen to them, somebody to show them the way, guide them, get their real need at that particular time. The patients continued coming, and they actually now were looking for the navigators because their needs were being met at that when as they came in. And also the strategic positioning of the navigators, the position where they were situated was next to the doctors, so the doctors would really refer the patients. The patients would not be looking for where the navigator place is and in the end give up, but they were next to each other. And so the patients were going direct to the navigator. That also helped for these patients. They knew that from the doctor, the next position, they were meeting the navigator. And also just creating awareness for in the whole of the hospital for all the departments to know about navigation, and also the doctors to get to know about navigation, and within the department itself, all the other staffs to understand what patient navigation is all about. So that helped actually for people to know about it and start asking for the services even from other departments. So this one was what I could see was helpful for our patients. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Grace, for sharing that. And we'll still request that you put that on the community as well. We still have 2 questions from the mice, and we will post them on community. Anyone who might have information that would link them, or even a program that you're having in your hospitals where they can benefit from these 2 questions about clinical navigators and case managers, please share. We know Bahia did talk about case managers in their last presentation, so we'd be curious to hear if Bahia you have some time. We'll invite you to go onto community and respond to this question and talk to us about how you are working with your case managers and how that may help the mice. I would like to I can see Shahid is already getting responses. We will not take the 1 minute that we normally do for feedback in the interest of time, and apologies in advance. We need about 5 minutes of your time just to talk about the next steps and what's coming up. So I'll go directly to Christy so you can give us a quick update.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, if you remember on our last session, we did talk about the cancer education materials. And at the time, we made a request of you to please review them before the end of October and provide us your feedback. So I still want to make that request of you. I think we've heard from at least 2 new respondents, so that's great. Would love to hear from all of you. Again, what we hear from you will inform some of our planning for 2023 and where there might be needs that we could fulfill. So super important to hear from you. Other than that, I did just want to make a plug. So happy to hear that the Malaysia team has been using the toolkit resources to prepare your training. And of course, you can't wait on us. But for those of you that aren't yet ready to do training, we will be releasing training content before the end of the year. We are quickly working on that and getting it ready for you. And hopefully that will make your lives easier. And we're going to have a whole session introducing that in December. So Jessica, was there anything else that you wanted me to touch upon? I know we have 2 more upcoming program spotlight. Yes. So just to say those 2 more, we have 2 more. Let's see. Yeah, let's look at the schedule. Oh, actually 3. That's correct. We have 3. The next one is October 27th. We'll be hearing from Bahia in Egypt and Ungungia in Brazil. And then on the 10th of November, we'll hear from our friends in Guatemala and another partner in Brazil. And finally, our colleagues in Armenia on December 1st. So If you enjoyed today's session and the last few sessions, we have 3 more where we will continue to learn from each other about your process and see what ideas we can field and share across the world. So please make plans to attend. Thank you so much to, we had, what was our number today? 51 that attended. This was our highest number of any session so far. So thank you for mobilizing folks to come today, and please encourage others to join us. And thank you in many, many languages. Let me see, should I try one of these here? Dakujem. I have no idea what language that is, but thank you.
Thank you, Christy, and thank you all. Look forward to seeing you again in the coming session.
Bye, everybody. Thank you again.
Bye.
Good night. Good night.
Bye. Good
My
night.
team. My friend.
Bye. Thank you.
Well, Malaysia, you did a nice
Bye.
job.
Thank you.
Bye. We are here.
Bye. Oh, so nice.
Wonderful job, both
Good
teams.
job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Malaysia.
Recording
Thank
stopped.
you, Indonesia. Dr. Vitalis, it's good to see you with the big team behind you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.